welcome back to the channel. This week, I've got quite a lot going on this week actually, and it's the last full week of the school holidays, which I'm happy about. I am a little bit sad about it because we have had a really fun time over the holidays, but it has been a total juggle, which I've obviously spoken about in previous videos if you've watched them as well. So yeah, feeling good about this week, and in this video I'm going to share the two main ways to get media coverage. So hopefully that'll be nice and helpful for you. And as well, that focuses a little bit on if you are doing your own PR, where I would start, like what I would sort of do as my first steps if I was doing my own PR again from scratch. So hopefully that'll be good for anyone that's doing their own PR. I am just out running a couple of errands. It's Monday lunchtime and I've got through quite a lot of stuff on my list today, lots of bitty things, some admin stuff at the start of the month as well, like invoicing and things like that. And this afternoon I have got a call, Storm Safe Crisis Communications call, which is part of my business that I run alongside a business partner. We've got a new product that we're launching. We've been working on it for the last few months and it's nearly ready, and now we're really starting to think about the marketing, social media side of things, because what I am very good at is coming up with ideas, coming up with products and books and things to sell and things to share with people, but not necessarily actually telling enough people about the stuff that I've got. So I'm going to try and do better. We're going to do better with this particular product, which is going to be super helpful for anyone that needs a crisis communications plan and needs it quickly and needs it cheaply. So that's what we've been working on, and I've got quite a bit of outreach to do for a client this afternoon for a podcast, so like his podcast, to try and get some great guests onto it. So yeah, lots going on. I've been out doing a few jobs, picked up a little coffee because I cannot resist treating myself if I'm walking past a coffee shop that I like. So I'm going to head now, go on with the day, and I will keep you updated as my week goes on. So when we're talking about how to get media coverage, broadly speaking, there's two main approaches to this. You've got proactive and you've got reactive. Now, if we start with proactive, that is what I would expect a PR consultant to primarily be spending their time on, someone like me, which is basically being proactive and pushing out your ideas, your news angles, your news hooks, and your creative sort of ideas to the media, sort of almost like cold calling in a way. So you're identifying specific creative sort of hooks and angles that you think will work for certain media, and then you are basically proactively getting in touch with that media to pitch your idea. So that would be local media, national media, it could be trade sector specific media, it could be, pitching to a news desk, it could be pitching to a specific journalist, which probably would work better. But it essentially is you coming up with the idea and pitching it out proactively to that media. Now that can be done through features, that can be done through blog type articles where you're sharing your knowledge. It can be done through opinion pieces, and I've done previous videos on some of these particular ways of getting media sort of coverage and attention, which I have used for my clients and I continue to use every single week. I'll pitch feature ideas out to media. I'll pitch ideas for blog style, here's like 5 lessons I've learned in my 20 years of, whatever it might be, finance or whatever, or opinion pieces about your industry. So here's something that's happening and here is why I strongly agree or strongly disagree that this is the best approach, and here's what I think, because all of these ways can help get you in the media and get more attention on you and your business, position you as an expert in your field, raise awareness of you amongst new audiences, and generally grow your credibility, which is what media coverage generally helps to do. On the flip side, when you're not doing proactive, there's also reactive opportunities within the media. And a lot of people don't realise this, but again, if you've got a good PR consultant or agency, then they should be keeping an eye out for these reactive media opportunities as well. And actually, I would say if you're just doing your own PR, this is probably a great place to start when it comes to media, looking out for what the journalists are actually putting out requests for. Now, there's various different platforms. Some are paid. I tend to use Editorial, which is quite a good one. There is possibly a free option to that, possibly not, but there's different paid tiers on that one. However, what I would say is on social media, especially if you look on X and you go to hashtag journal request and you go to the latest feed on that, then you will see every 5 to 10 minutes a journalist somewhere is saying, I would like to speak to an expert about this. I would like to speak to someone who's experienced that. I want to speak to someone who can tell me about this. And honestly, like, there's just dozens and dozens of them every single day. And I've had great success with clients where I have seen something that's been put on one of these platforms from a journalist saying, I'd love to speak to somebody about this, or I want to speak to an expert in that. And I've pitched one of my clients and they've ended up in some great publications like Women's Health, like iNews, like The Guardian, Telegraph, brilliant publications that actually, just because we happened to respond in a timely manner with somebody who was a good fit, it all worked out. And the client gets basically coverage in a publication that they might not otherwise have got in, or it might have taken a while for them to get in to land on the right story and the right opportunity at the right time. So these reactive media opportunities are fabulous. And like I say, if you're just working for yourself on the PR side of things and you haven't got a consultant working with you, start there. Go on X, hashtag journal request, and look down the latest feed on it and just see if any of them are a good fit for you, and get into the habit of doing that sort of daily, a couple of times a day, just to keep on top of it. Now, the other thing you can do is go on Facebook. There's different Facebook groups that are sort of PR journalist led. They bring PR and journalists together, or they quite often they just bring journalists and people who have got a good story, business owners together, and PRs are not allowed in the group. So it's worthwhile just looking up some of these as well, because you could be in a Facebook group where journalists are saying, look, if you think you've got an interesting story, pitch us here, and you can pitch them, and if anyone's interested, they'll pick up on it. Or they might be saying, again, I'm looking for someone to talk about this, I'm looking for an expert in this particular field, and you can say, that's me, give me a shout. So the reactive side of media is actually full of opportunities. So the best sort of ideal setup is to be doing both. So for me, when I'm working with a client, I am constantly coming up with ideas, proactively pitching out, but I'm also always monitoring these various channels to make sure that I don't miss a reactive opportunity that could be a great fit for one of my clients as well. So that is probably, and as far as I'm concerned, the two main sort of ways to get media coverage. And within them, obviously, there's different things you can do. But yeah, there's proactive and there's reactive. If you can do both, do both. If you can only do one, start with reactive, I would say. And I hope that helps. Right, so it is Thursday lunchtime and it's been a busy week, as always. I have just got off back-to-back calls there for the last couple of hours with two different clients. One was just a short sort of check-in call that we have every couple of weeks, and one was with a client who I've worked with for probably about 18 months now, and yeah, she's always got big plans, and it's always very, very exciting, and some of the things that have been sort of on hold are starting to happen, so it's getting quite exciting. I also have another client call this afternoon, so it's been a busy day for client calls. I don't usually like to have too many calls in a day because, well, it's tiring for one thing, but also it means that, you know, the day gets broken up and I don't get a full run at some of the stuff that I want to do. One thing that I am debating, and I would love to hear in the comments from anyone who has done this in their business, is late payment fees for clients. I have, you know, lovely clients. I was going to say most of them pay me on time. That's probably not true. About half are very diligent. They pay me on time every single month. And then there's probably about half that don't pay me on time. Never really do. Some of them I know they will, and they just do it like a few days late, or you give them a little reminder and they do it straight away. And then there's obviously like the odd client that just is quite far behind on their payments. And yeah, like I finished with a client there that I had given notice to, worked like the month of July, invoiced as normal at the start of the month, and we're into like partway through August now and it still hasn't been paid, and I've finished up with them. And it's stuff like that, well, it's stressful emotionally when you know that, you're owed money and someone hasn't paid it to you. But also, it takes time to chase up. It takes mental energy. You have to write notes to yourself to do the follow-ups. And yeah, you could just do without it when you've got a lot of other things going on. And it is a little bit disrespectful. Like, I know that people are busy. I know that people have a lot of things to remember. People are forgetful at times, which is totally fine. But I think if you've sent a reminder, or maybe even more than one reminder, then it's really about time that you got paid. And I noticed that a couple of people that had sent me invoices have like a late payment fee option on their invoice, and I never pay my invoices late, so I never would get charged that. But yeah, I was actually just thinking, is that something that I should consider, and how would I go about implementing it? See, these are all the tricky things. I don't know, it's a bit of a sensitive one, isn't it? But I do think it's important for small businesses to be paid on time, because we've got costs, we've got bills, we've got other people to pay sometimes for services. So just toying with that at the moment is something that, yeah, it does play on your mind, a little bit, when you've done work and you've done well for a client and there doesn't seem to be that forthcoming sort of payment motivation on their end, shall we say. So anyway, that's what I'm sort of playing with at the moment in my mind. But yeah, other than that, everything is ticking along nicely this week, and lots more to do, lots more opportunities hopefully to find for clients, and lots more yeses I'm hoping to come back on the emails. It's Friday again, the end of another week. It has been a good one. I don't know if I've got loads of like client results to share this week, but we've been having some positive discussions. We've been a few things set up. We've got, clients that are writing articles for different publications, and podcasts sort of saying yes, but obviously they've not happened yet. So yeah, we've got a nice few things bubbling away, considering that it's August, it's the holidays, and I do expect it to be a bit of a slower month. So I'm just looking at what I've got in my diary today. It's quite early still in the morning. I'm going to work through my to-do list, which has got some pitching for different clients, a couple of client updates. I've got a quick call this morning with the marketing guy who works for a client, so I'm just going to check in with him on a few things. And yes, I need to edit this video. I have got a lot to get through, and I'm waiting for a delivery as well, so that's why I was up and out my walk early so I can get back in time for this delivery. So yeah, hopefully this has been a helpful video. I, as always, appreciate anybody who watches. If you have made it this far, well done. I'm hoping that my videos are informative. I will start going out and about a bit more. I know that I'm not very good at, well, I do go out and about, I just don't take the camera with me, but I will do more of that in the future. But really I want these videos to be a little bit of, like behind the scenes work stuff, but also for you to get value PR wise from every single one. That's like the main point. So, if you are thinking about how do I promote my business, how do I use PR to get known, then hopefully these videos can help. And like everything, this one with the media side of things, just get out there and try. Honestly, that's just the message for every video basically, is get out there and try the stuff that I am talking about, because it works. I use it, other people that I know use it, and it does truly work. So yeah, give it a go. You've got nothing to lose, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.